Okay, ready to brave some chilling verses. Today we're trekking deep into the wintry world of walking in the snow by the enigmatic Nona Moysu. From the excerpts you've shared, it seems like a deceptively simple poem, right? Like there's um, a lot more going on beneath the surface, like a blanket of fresh snow.
Totally. It's like sensory details grab you right from the start. You can practically feel that crunch, crunch, crunch with every step, smell that crisp winter air. But there's this subtle undercurrent of, I don't know, unease. Like this isn't just a fun little walk in the park.
Right, like something's a bit off. So let's unpack this line by line. We start with bluebirds and blackbirds right there in the first few lines, but then no buzzing bees. It's like a glimpse of like that transition from early spring into the quiet of winter. Then we get those lines about the missing squirrels, the missing bunnies, even the lake's frozen solid. It paints this picture that feels kind of, well, lonely, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's Moysu's genius, I think. Those absences. They do so much to convey the passing of time. But it's more than just the seasons changing, you know? It feels like the speaker's whole world is shifting, like things are disappearing. And as the poem goes on, we see that reflected in how uncertain the speaker becomes. Like they're lost trying to find their way.
And then, bam, we're in a tunnel, going from that quiet winter scene straight to, well, roly-polies and sleighs, which, I mean, not exactly the best company on a snowy day, right? Oh, and there are howling wolves in the distance, too. It definitely adds to that sense of, well, danger, like things are getting a little riskier. What do you think, listener? Just atmosphere, or is there something more symbolic going on here?
Now that's the question, isn't it? Those details are so different from that, almost peaceful, wintry imagery we had at the beginning. But then, just as the tension's building, we get hit with like the smell of wood smoke, right? Cinnamon rolls, apple pie.
Almost like those scents are guiding the speaker back, like a trail of breadcrumbs leading to safety, to home.
Right. Those are smells we associate with warmth, with comfort, with being safe. It's like a beacon of hope when everything else feels so, well, disorienting. And we can't forget that never ending wind, right? The one that's pushing against the speaker. It just adds to that feeling of being off balance, of being lost. And then that sunrise. Finally, some relief. Mommy found me.
Which brings us to this really interesting twist. With this poem, it was actually originally a song. Can you believe it?
Which completely changes things, right? I mean, songs tell stories differently, often through different voices, and over a period of time. So, is this poem just one moment in a bigger story? What do you think, listener? Does knowing it's a song change how you see this whole thing?
Okay, so get this. The song tells this whole backstory, right? A
Hmm.
father returning home, a family searching for him. It's like this whole other layer suddenly appears. And it just adds this whole other dimension to those themes of being lost and then being found.
Yeah. Exactly. It makes you think like, who is the speaker? Is it the child waiting and worrying for their dad to come home? Or maybe it's the father lost and struggling to find his way back. I mean, it's fascinating how much depth that adds to the poem.
And if that wasn't enough, there's the whole mystery surrounding Nona Moysu herself. We've got a pen name that's actually an anagram for anonymous, a former 911 operator, a background in law enforcement, and a songwriter. I mean, talk about a life story.
Right. It really makes you wonder, like, how all of that feeds into her writing. Just think about the stories a 911 operator must hear, the emotions, the vulnerability, how fragile life can be. Don't you get the sense that some of that's woven into walking in the snow? Like she's taking these these universal feelings of being lost, of searching for comfort and safety, and like filtering them through these incredibly intense experiences.
So here we have this seemingly simple walk in the snow. But underneath, we've got these layers of vivid imagery, unsettling moments, and a backstory that adds this whole other level.
And that, I think, is what makes walking in the snow so powerful. It stays with you, it makes you want to dig deeper, uncover those hidden meanings. How does knowing all of this, the song, Moisu's life, how does it change your understanding of the poem? It's definitely something to think about as you read it again, as you walk alongside that speaker in their snowy world.